Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and I'm back with another episode of my Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020 playthrough. We're on the last day of the season for this Austin Peay team. This has been just a complete turnaround. If you're coming to this after watching some of the previous episodes where I was really getting frustrated with the makeup of this team and how we were playing, you're probably not going to believe a record now. We're 15 and 13, 9 and 8 in conference. When we started playing those regular season, or I say regular season, conference games this year, first episode, I think we went through the first couple non or conference games and we're just whitewashed. Really lost both games by 20 plus points each. I was worried that we might not even win 10 games, let alone, compete in the conference. But since then, we just kept plugging away, making some adjustments here and there, and we've had a great run. The last episode, let me see, I think the last episode was it this Morehead State win, I believe, is the last episode that, no, sorry, we have to go back further. The last episode was this Tennessee Martin win. I remember I wanted to showcase them just to see if I could change. Well, after we won that one, we won three more, but four in a row total. And we did what I thought we were going to have to do to get back to around 500 for the season or a little better. And that was, we won a tough road game. We annihilated Murray State on the road, 88-59. And then had a blip against Tennessee State on the road, 64-69, but then came back, beat Eastern Kentucky, and we're coming off another big win on the road against Morehead State, 98-83. So we're down to the last game of the season at home against Belmont with a pretty respectable record, in line with where we were last year, which was 15 and 13 in the regular season. Let me see if it shows me season recaps. So we were 16 and 15 last year, so a little bit better. So if we are able to win this last game against Belmont, or if we're able to have a good run in the tournament, OVC tournament, we've got a potential to matching or beating that record. But Belmont, once again, they're the tough team in the conference. Here's the way one of the tough teams. Here's the way the standings look. I'm a little surprised about Tennessee Tech. They're going to win the regular season title in the OVC. 14 and 3 right now, 19 and 9 overall. But they've had a great season, and they've got good balance, I guess. But I don't really know how they've done it, because they've got this guy's injured right now. I think they had another injury. Yeah, this guy's gone for the season, so they don't really have a lot of depth at center. They just got 2-star players at center. So whatever they're doing, it's been pretty impressive. They went on a run here. Look at this. In conference, they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight games. But they're just not necessarily running away with it, but they're going to win. Belmont can't catch them. Belmont's in second, 12 and 5 in conference, 19 and 9 overall. Hopefully we can surprise them. That would be a good finish if we do. That would put us up to 10 wins in conference, put us up in that top 4 or 5, I guess, in the conference, depending on how the Red Hawks and the Cougars do. But I can't complain about finishing, if we lose and finish 9 and 9 and 15 and 14 overall at the end of the season, regular season. I can't complain about that, because we looked just terrible to start the season. But I'll take a look at the team and a few other things, and then we'll just go ahead and sim out that game. And one thing I'll tell you too, I have been playing out every game, and I started mixing a little bit of sim games, just simming out the game and seeing how that works. And in some ways, it's kind of improved the enjoyment a little bit, because in-game can be a little frustrating if you're like me, you get a little impatient. And I think I was over tinkering with the team in game. And I think you just have to stay with your strategy. And this is probably going to show Tennessee Tech's strategy. Let me move it to mine. But I think you need to just stay with that strategy. Let your team get adjusted and proficient at the offenses that you're wanting to run. And I think in some ways you might even be better just simming it out. But what I'll probably do, I've done this with out of the park baseball in the past, sim the games out and then let the AI handle the matchups until I get to maybe on the episodes or big games, tournament games. Then I'll play it out just because I think it's a little bit more fun that way, all things considered. But I do think that we probably do play better when I'm not tinkering with it. So that's good. But let's take a look at the recruiting class where we're at right now. We did have one verbal, and that was small forward, which we needed. I know he's not the greatest scouted player that we're recruiting, but his outside shooting's good, and it could be a case where he comes in as a freshman, gets play time, and develops. So got to do what we got to do. Other than him, we're struggling a little bit. Curtis Riley is another. I think he's a shooting guard that we're trying to get. We're still just fourth on his top 10 schools, and it hurts. I think that his parents went to Tennessee State, so we may lose him to a rival. And then Lewis Morton, he's a power forward. He's still liking us as his number one school. I've been working on some of these other guys. I still would like to get Brad Caspers. I just think being able to go with three centers might be a little bit better. I'd feel better about where we're at in that department. I'll talk about what I've done with center in a minute, but this guy is rated pretty well by my assistant coach who scouts and also by those national scouting reports. I just don't think I'm going to get this guy until we go to the contact period. I think it's what it's called, where we can actually go to their home and the head coach goes to their home, does a home visit. So that's what it's probably going to take. But I'm still looking to get one more small forward and then maybe a shooting guard, point guard, and center. Point guard, I'm trying to work this guy because he's the only one who's even remotely interested in us. I think I'm in trouble with point guard. I'm trying to get this guy back involved. Anything I can do to, even though he had a bad visit, I've got to get some of these guys interested again, because point guard, we're going to be hurting there as well. I might have to move, depending on the depth that we have. If we have a shooting guard, I may have to move shooting guard over there to cover it. But I want one shooting guard, one point guard, two small forwards, one power forward. I'm hopeful that I'll get Morton. I like his size. I like his inside shooting ability. So I think he would be a pretty decent recruit. He's looking good in the high school games this year. And then that center, if I could get Caspers, but honestly, I would settle for Johnson. And Johnson is not rated as highly, but we are his third top 10 school, and his parents, one of his parents at least, went to Austin Peay, so that might be an advantage. But that's all I'll talk about on recruiting. We're getting to the point where I think we're getting close to this contact. The next contact is March 19th. So just a few weeks away, and that's where I'm going to try to go to these guys, visit them at their homes and make the pitch that I need to make to get them interested or getting them to sign. I think that'll make a big difference, hopefully. It has, I've noticed in previous seasons. But now let's take a look at the depth chart. I was going to mention a couple things here. Nothing's really changed except I've moved Mallet into the starting center, and I'm going to, for some reason it doesn't save that, but I want Mallet to get the time now at center. I'm giving him like 20 minutes on the depth chart. He hasn't impressed me too much overall, but he is the best potential rated center that we have based on our assistant coach's ratings of him. He's got the best size of any center that we have. So I think being able to get this guy up to his potential, would make him one of the better centers in this conference with that size, I think, with that size. And he's got a long way to go, but he's got really good, if you look at his potential abilities, inside shooting right now is at 7. So he's outperforming a little bit. That might be scary. He needs to improve in free throw shooting, I know, but he could be a really good scoring center. He's got potential of 7 there, but he's also the rebounding and defensive ability on a 10 scale. I mean, he's got offensive, defensive rebounding potential of 8, and a defensive and shot blocking ability potential of 8, 7 potential in stealing. Court IQ's high, drawing fouls is high. I think this guy is the best one. And he's showing improvement in free throws. So I'm hoping at this point just to give him more play time. I mean, he needs it, and he hasn't really developed year to year. So next year I hope to see some development from him. But since I've made him the starter, you can see he's had some pretty good games here and there. I mean, against Eastern Kentucky, he gave us 20 minutes, 5 rebounds, 11 points. Against Eastern Illinois, 21 minutes, he gave us 4 rebounds, 3 steals, and 11 points. So I think he's a better option than Travis Hart. And I'll look at Hart here. You know, he's definitely the backup. He gives us, I guess, more rebounds at the moment, but he's still not rated as highly. He doesn't have the potential that Mallett does in rebounding. And so it could be a toss-up, but like I say, I think he's a 3 potential, Mallett's a 4 potential. Mallett has the height advantage. I think that's key for a center. So I just think it's time to let Mallett, who's been here now, this is his 2nd year, I think it's time to let Mallett get most of the time there. And unfortunately, Holland's been really disappointing. I know it may not show because of the centers, he is leading in scoring, and I don't know, is he leading in rebounding? Yeah, he's even leading in rebounding. But what I've noticed from him, he does a lot of turnovers. He does a lot of crazy things out there when he's on the court, and I haven't been really all that impressed with him enough to make him the starter day to day, even though he is a senior, and even though he was the starter last year. I just, in some ways, I think he may have even regressed from last year. Maybe it doesn't show up too much in the stats, but it's just one of those things. I guess I'm getting that feel when I play out the games. I mean, he does a lot of bonehead pass, turnovers, and he's still, for whatever, and I could tell him not to. I know I could call him and say, hey, quit shooting those threes, but he attempts a 3 a lot, and I don't know. He's still playing 12 minutes, but I'm not going to invest too much playtime in him other than that, above that. But in terms of the stats, it's about where it was last time. Jensen's still our leading scorer, and at 13.3, so he's even improved more than he was throughout the season. And his relationships are pretty good, so I'm hoping that, unlike last year, I'm hoping I don't lose this guy to transfer. If you look at the game logs, he's had some amazing games here and there. I mean, a couple 20-point games. Has he had a double-double? I don't see that. But this game, Southeast Missouri State, 9 rebounds and 15 points. His season high, I think, is 23 points. But he's looked pretty good at times. He just stumbled a little bit in a loss, too, against SIU Edwardsville. That's probably the biggest disappointing loss we've had since that last episode. But he's been, for sure, the top scorer, maybe the best overall player. Jepson rated the best overall player. He's played this year the way he's played his whole career, really. I think, yeah, he's almost spot on. He got more minutes last year, but he's at 10.5 points, 6 rebounds this year as opposed to 6.2. I just think that's what he gives you. He can be frustrating at times at the free throw line, but he can also be frustrating with turnovers, I've noticed too. We're still struggling as a team in field goal percentage, but I'm hoping that, that might be a little bit better as I leave him alone. That's why he hasn't had as good a season this year, is because his field goal percentage is down. What is that? Almost over 30 points. The whole team has just struggled, even with in shooting, even with Jensen. Well, I could probably look at it from here. Jensen's free field goal percentage is under 40, so he's struggled a little bit. But going down the list, McMillian, he's still got that 3.5-star potential. I've been pretty impressed with him, and I think impressed enough that he's gonna more than likely be the starter for next year. I don't think I'm going to get a better recruit for him, and he's another one who, after I set him down earlier in the season, I mean, he's had some amazing games here and there. Murray State, 15 points. I mean, his 4 assists. This last game against Morehead State, he was the player of the game. He had 7 assists, 19 points. Just a great game for him. He's going to be good to have around next year, and I think he's also improving, the team and coach relationship. So I'm hoping that he won't transfer out. And then Laws, a senior power forward, he's doing pretty good. Coming off the bench. And then I guess Marshak, another one, he's still coming off the bench, but he's giving us 6 points. But I also wanted to, I think I've talked about this last time, Ike King, another one with a lot of potential. He's taken over the power forward role at the moment, even over Harriman, who also has 4 potential. I think of the two of them, he's got the better size, so I think that's gonna help him out. I guess that's all I was going to highlight here. Cunningham still playing off the bench. He's looked okay. I mean, he's not a scoring point guard by any means. 15 minutes, just 3.8 points. But he's looked a little bit better, I think, coming off the bench than he did starting. So that's where we're at. I think the relationships are looking a lot better this year than they did last year. We just got a few guys who show up here with in the mood column, but it's nothing that's out of control. And like I say, I hope that I don't lose either one of these guys or any of them to transfers off season. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play the Belmont game. I'll look at how it's rated right now, or how we're scouted. I'm pretty sure they're going to have the advantage. Yep. So we've got the advantage at small forward. They've got the advantage at center. They've got Tony Weber, who's been with them for just about, well, I guess the whole time I've been playing this playthrough. He's a senior now, but he's got pretty good size, but he's a good overall player. But everything else is no advantage. So we may be able to use our standard offensive sets favoring outside and see how that works. A lot of games to go through, looks like. So here we go, big game for us. How do they match up to? I mean, they got a couple seniors. Pete Holloway, who looks like their leading scorer. Probably a shooting guard. But I don't know. He might be a point guard. He's leading in assist as well. Yeah, I guess that's how it works. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward. I don't know. We never really matched up all that well against them. I'm going to leave things the way they are. I'm not going to tamper with anything. And we're just going to see how far we get with it. That's one of the things, I've noticed when we're just simming out the games. I'm going to pause it, stop, so that I can stay engaged. And first foul, it's going to be a shooting foul. That might be to our benefit when I'm simming out the games. Like I said earlier, is you getting these players used to, just keeping that same strategy going, not tampering with it too much. And we finally get on the board, a 3-pointer from McMillian. We were down 5-0. But then this is where I have the problem. I want to adjust in game because we're getting out rebounded and things like that. I want to, I'm going to have to do something. So I can't just let it go. I'm going to crash the boards a little bit and then up the defensive intensity. Fouls are 3-1. Their advantage, but we draw one there from Jensen. He makes the shot, makes the free throw, so it's a 4-point game now. Ike King, his second foul. He's going to get in foul trouble early. Just 16 minutes left. 12-6. They're just they're really smoking us right now. It's they're 5 for 7 in field goals and out rebounding us 6-4. 14-6 timeout. Let me see if I can motivate the team a little bit. Just show concern at this point. And they're showing some signs of life. McMillian, 4 points for him now. Misses 1 of 2 though in the free throws. We're 2 of 3 for free throws. A 3-pointer from him. And we come back with a 3-pointer of our own. I don't know if that was Laws or Jensen. But then we throw it away. That was Jepson. Again, way too many turnovers from him. Oh, and Jensen, another 3-pointer. We're within 4, and they miss a dunk. And then we hit a 3-pointer. Gosh, some fast action there. We're down just by 1 point. But then this happens a lot. We do something, even though we're not in foul trouble, we get a stupid foul there. But now momentum is our way, and then we throw it away. It's a 3-point game, and that's what I'm talking about. Holland again, a 3-pointer. I don't know why he would do that. He very rarely makes them, and there's just no advantage to having your center. Well, he made that one and tied it up. I don't think there's much of an advantage to have that guy come down the floor and just throw up a 3-pointer. All right, so pass deflected out of bounds. It's a tie game right now. No real momentum either way. We still got the ball. We could take a lead here, but we've got the wrong guys on the floor in terms of, we got, some of our walk-ons on the floor. So it's going to be hard, although that was a good play by Cunningham. And Holland, 1 for 4 in shooting. And it's tied, but we get a foul. That's our 6th team foul. We're going to be pretty close to that. It is a shooting foul, but we're going to be pretty close to giving them the advantage here soon. That was a good play by Marshak. Oh, and a 3-pointer. It's 26-23. Laws is going to draw the foul, go to the line. He's not a great free throw shooter. He makes 1 and 2. We have still, every once in a while, we've had games where we've been good, but we've still had games where we lost it at the free throw line. I mean, without question. I mean, it was a close enough game that had we made a decent percentage of our shots, we could have won it. So to the developers, I wish that they had a way to train. I know maybe it should be a simple thing, but I think you should be able to, in a coaching plan, set some of your poor free throw shooters, give them time to practice free throws, because it kills you in some of these games when you've got a guy who is oh man, we're playing really bad again, where you got a guy who's a terrible free throw shooter, especially an inside guy, and they don't make, they're barely shooting 50%, and man, they are running away with it. So after tying it up, looking pretty good there for a while, we've just fallen apart. It's a 9-point game. Jepson has been really, unfortunately, he's been just ineffective. He turns it over there. That's, gosh, I wish I could look at his stats here, but that's at least 2 turnovers I'm aware of. And McMillian, foul on the other end. Every foul sending him to the line. They're 11 for 13 free throws. I have yet to play this Belmont team where they did not do the fundamentals right. Where their shooting was high, their field goal shooting is high, and their free throw shooting is high, and it's hard to match up against them. They're such a good shooting team. And inside there, that was a good move, I guess, by Weber. Weber's off the floor, so now Mallett, his second foul. Jensen called for a foul. It's an 11-point game. And that was one of the rare times where it must have been I don't know if that's a starter, but they missed the free throws. But they're just walking all over us right now. Out-rebounding us 16-11. Turnovers 3-8. We've got to get better at field goals. Look at this, 8 for 23. This is considered a good game. I mean, this is about as good as we do in a lot of cases. So hopefully another year of for Jensen and some of these other guys will improve that, but you can't win shooting 30 to 35% consistently. Traveling. And throw it away. We're up to 11 turnovers now to their 3. And another foul. We have not even gone to the bonus yet. I mean, that's how lopsided it is. And they miss them. They miss 2 more free throws, but they get the rebound. So they're going to go in almost up by 20. And we miss 19-point lead. Yeah, this is the same way. This is why I took to really simming it out, because you have very little you can do to change things in a game like this. They're shooting 54%, and you can't really afford to just max out your defensive pressure intensity, because we're already in foul trouble. I mean, we've got 2 guys with 3 fouls, Mallett and Jensen. So we can't really afford to do that, and we're shooting 37.5%. But look at the field goals, 24 attempts to their 31. I mean, in every aspect, they're really handling us in this game. So I guess going back, I mean, who's really looking good? Jensen doing what he typically does. He's just not getting many attempts. So I think we need to stay outside, but maybe give him a little bit more offensive freedom the second half. Crash the boards a little bit more, and that's it. I think that's how I'll stay, and just hope that we get a good run going. I don't foresee us coming back from 19 at the half, and right off the bat, I mean we're gonna send them to the free throw line, and now it's a 20+ point game, 21 points. And 24 points. Man. I mean, we have played well against this team in the past. We've had some surprise wins against this team in the past. But we're just, especially that first year. That first year was really exciting. We just don't have the players here that we had when I took this team over. And I definitely didn't realize that. I didn't realize what team I had that first year. But, I mean, this team is just – I still think we outplayed, outperformed where we really, truly are. To be at 9 wins in conference, over 500 for the year, I don't think we're that good. So I'm just hoping that, if I decide to stay with this team, and it may come up to what kind of man, they're up at 30, and we're shooting 32%. I mean, this is why I sim it out, and I'll probably continue to do that because I don't know if it could even be like just the way it's coded. I've had games where I've wondered, if there's a difference between playing it out and simming it, but letting the AI handle it. But you cannot win shooting 30%. We've had games where we've shot 20 in the 20s. It's crazy to me. So I think, I don't know, maybe some of you basketball fans can let me know. Does that sound right to you? I mean, I know it's possible every once in a while, but game to game to game, struggling to shoot in the 30s just seems, on the college level, on a the NCAA level, that just sounds like way out of whack. For the way some of our guys are rated. I mean, we're right at 30%. We're below 30% now. I mean, this is typical for this team, and that just does not seem right to me. I mean, that really seems like that's just I can't grasp it. Either that's something that the game itself is doing, or I'm using the wrong offensive sets. But I don't think I'm using the wrong offensive sets to this extent. I mean, that's just, you're not gonna. That's what alarmed me so much at the start of the year, because we played like that on those first two games, and you're not competing at that point. I mean, you could play a high school team and they could beat you if that's the kind of shooting you're going to have from the floor. I think this game's probably going to turn out to be a barn burner. At least Jensen's going to finish, pretty strong. He's up to 10 points already. But I'll get through this game, and then we'll look at maybe sim ahead to see what the tournament looks like. And that was a shot clock violation. I think I'm just going to get through this one and see how it ends. I don't know if we'll be able to look at the tournament this time out. I don't know if we'll have enough. We'll have to sim ahead, I think, pretty far to get to the tournament schedule for the OVC, but we'll be able to see how we finished. I think, though, next year, you can see it all automatically. I really think this is a coding issue. I mean, as soon as I just go to like a simming only thing, they start shooting. I mean, I know this is probably not a good example of that but this is what 90 to 65, that was terrible. But this is what I've experienced. This team definitely plays better when you sim it out. I mean, just by miles. So that's why I was interested in seeing if I just didn't touch anything, if that would make a difference, but apparently it doesn't. So I think my safest bet, and I would advise you too, unless you've probably played this game longer than I have and know what you're doing in game, I would recommend you just sim it out, because that's just man, I mean, it's a closer games in the second half, but man, they tore us up. This may have been the biggest loss we've ever had to Belmont. Individually, McMillian, not too bad. I would like to see more assists out of him. I am seeing more scoring, I think, but I do want to see more assists. Jepson, 9 points but 8 rebounds, and then Jensen, 15 points, so he's definitely going to be the leading scorer. Mallet, wow, he didn't give us much either. No points, but he was playing against Tony Weber, who's one of the best centers in this conference. How did Holland? Didn't look too much better. And then Hart was really ineffective. But it's that shooting. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's even free throws. We were below 70%. I still think that we're using the offensive sets that are going to get us what we should have. It must be um, a combination of a lot of things. I'm just going to leave it there. I mean, it's probably AI. Um, it's are you simming or playing out? I do think that plays a plays a factor, and just the age of the team. Maybe give Jensen one more year full starting, and he's going to be a lot better. But uh, Tennessee Tech finished strong, so looking at the standings, it's going to be Tennessee Tech by a long shot, and both them and Belmont finished with 20 wins. So they've got to be the odds-on favorite. I think SIU Edwardsville were pretty competitive this year. I already mentioned that was one of the toughest or biggest disappointing losses we had in that run where we were winning. But now we're kind of in the middle. So I don't know if we're going to go to the tournaments yet. So I don't think it'll show us that at this point, but we'll look. But hey, this 15 and 14 from where we started. This is, I think that's not too bad. This is definitely a transition team. I mean, I inherited a team, as I said a few times here, that was better than I thought. And Lewis Morton. Okay, so we got another recruit. Not surprising. I mean, those are the recruits I figured we were going to get. So now I'm really going to have to work on. I think we got to get. So Curtis Riley is probably going to be the only shooting guard I'm going to get. But we need one more small forward. I would like to get Canny, but he's out of state. For some reason, we're still third on his schools. Are we in the recruit? Are we in the? No, we're still in the evaluation period. Casper's, we're fifth on this guy. I mean, if I call him, I've already scouted him enough. I mean, we got really good recruiting notes. This is what bothers me. His parents went to Tennessee State. But this guy would be, I think, unless this is way off, he would probably be the starting center on this team within 2-3 years. Bob Johnson, he's third. But at this point, I'm really on those guys anyway. I'm just waiting to get to the point where I can visit him. Emerson, he had a bad visit with us, and that's why he's still not liking us. Canny, I can't host him, and so it's going to come down to Brendan Wise. These guys have really cooled off. I just, I'm going to dial him up. Just let him know I'm still. I don't need to get any pitch information. Okay. All right. It sure would be nice if we could get him in there. And I haven't done well with out-of-state recruits, so that would be pretty good to know, too, that we could do that. I think it may have been this guy. No, there's one of these guys in the Midwest who location wasn't that big of a concern. Where was it? It may have been this guy that I was thinking. No, location was pretty important. All right, so I'm just going to let that one go until we get to the contact period, and then I'm going to visit them. None of our underclassmen. So we're going to go against Morehead State. Let me see if it'll show me. I'm going to look at the final pose here too. But I'm also going to see if it'll show me the conference tournament tree. But here's what we're looking at. San Diego State has been first several times this year. Connecticut has been up there, and I think Georgetown is another one. There's some team we're missing here. Who is it? There was one team that was early in the season looking really good. It may have been Georgetown, but I thought it was somebody else. But it's been a really different year already. You can see Purdue's up there really high. Arizona, I think they've been doing pretty well in this playthrough, but Notre Dame second. On the bubble, right now they're going to show Tennessee Tech, and then of course they're going to show Belmont's going to be up in here somewhere, I'm sure. Maybe not. I don't even see Belmont. So from our conference, it's going to take the tournament. Whoever wins the tournament will probably be the only one, and that's what I would like to get into a better conference, so that if we have a good year, we got a chance at making the tournament, the Final Four tournament. Right now, with this team, we just really don't have that. So let's take a look, and if I go into Play Sim and look at the OVC tournament. All right, so we come in ranked 5th. We're going to be playing Morehead State, and then if we win, we'll play Missouri State, and then we're in that Tennessee Tech bracket. In terms of how we've looked against Morehead State, though, they're the team that we beat on the road handily, 98-83, and we beat them at home. So we won both our games against them. That might be a good matchup for us. And then after that, who was it? Southeast Missouri State. I think they're another team that, let me take a look, but I think they're another team that we did well against. Yeah, that was one of our biggest wins, 73-55. So, we may have a little bit of a shot here in the tournament to make a run. I mean, if we could at least win a couple, that would be really good. I would feel great about that. And we only played Tennessee Tech once, and we just lost to them by 5 points on the road. So there could be some surprises there. But what I'll do is I'll come back and play the tournament games in the next episode and see how far we go. But as always, I appreciate you guys staying around and watching my videos and giving me some likes here and there and comments. And appreciate that support. And I will see you next episode.